Welcome back. I'm playing Warhammer 40,000 Battlesector, and we'll get started our next multiplayer matchup. I am going to be playing as the Orcs against the Astra Militarum. We're going to be doing Imperial Ruin, Strategic Command, 2,000 points. The standard 80-point target, 8-turn limit. So we'll see how we can do against the Astra Militarum. I've been having a little trouble getting some other players to use the Astra, so I can try to do some matches against them to try to build out some armies. But I think we finally got one here, and this player is actually pretty good, so hopefully he'll give us a run for our money. So I've got our forces selected out here. I've got a Weird Boy just as our commander. I've got 2 Pain Boys, 2 Death Dreads with just the big shooters here. The hope being that their shots will be able to do some good. And then the melee, I've got 3 Flash Skits, 3 Ludas with the Beamy Death Guns. I've got 1 Gretchen and 1 Storm Boy to be able to capture the point, and then 2 War Bikers to be able to soak up Overwatch and also snipe out any higher value targets or heroes that may be in our area here. And then I also have 2 Burner Boys. I don't remember if I said that or not. That way I can hopefully flame down any guardsmen that may be trying to body block strategic command points. So we'll see what we can do here. Now usually I try to run up here as fast as possible to capture those points, but I think actually in retrospect, after I started to think more and do more of these recordings afterwards, I think it actually makes more sense to save that red button for the following turn. The reason being is then you can have 2 turns to have that bonus evasion in addition to the smoke screen there, and that'll help increase their survivability and also to soak up more shots here, because usually what the Astra Militarum do is they're going to do a very tank heavy build, so any shot I can get them to use into those war bikes instead of my squishy infantry forces here I think is going to be a win. So that's kind of my thought process there. And then obviously the Pain Boys, they give you the bonus HP for anybody that's within 2 squares of them, whether it be mechs or vehicles, infantry, anything like that. So we're just trying to take advantage of that. And then ultimately I'd like to take advantage of our Weird Boy using his Warpath ability, which will give me plus 10% bonus damage and 10% damage reduction here. And as you can see, the Imperial Guard has moved up to capture this point. Now our opponent here actually did something pretty interesting last turn, is he was able to capture a strategic point on the first turn. That's actually quite difficult to do with the Imperial Guard because they don't have any jump infantry, kind of like how I was able to use the Storm Boys there. So I asked him, like, how did you do that? Because I don't see a lot of players using that ability, and I actually have not done that. And so what you have to do is you use a Chimera and a Commissar, and you then use the move ability now that it's got an AoE effect, and you load the Commissar into the transport after he's already got the move bonus in addition to the move bonus from the Chimera itself, and then you can load and unload on the same turn. But then because you have that 2 bonus movement between the +1 movement for each one of those units there, you now will have enough movement to be able to capture a point on the very first turn. But it commits you to a lot of point usages that you have to use to be able to do that, because now you have to have a Commissar, you have to have a Chimera, and then you have to use the castle, and that's effectively the only way you can capture that point on the first turn. So as you can see here, I'm going to use the pop in the smoke and then the big red button, because all I effectively want this guy to do here is soak up Overwatch. Now, because he's got a castle, and I'm sure his thought process is as well, I'm going to end up bringing these Punishers here, because that'll increase their damage by 33%, because the Castellan's ability allows you to have +1 damage is straight up, and then they usually do 1 to 2 damage. Come on, baby. There you go. So we blow that up, and that should be able to kill all those guys. And so then instead of having 1 to 2, they'll now do 2 to 3. So as you can see, that's a huge damage output into those Punishers, and that should effectively allow him to squad wipe any of my orcs here. So that should definitely pay dividends in addition to his heavy... Oh, he's got multi-meltas on him. I was going to say the heavy bolters and then the las cannon, but that's not actually how he has these guys set up. So I like the burner boys, like I said, to be able to not only take out any infantry pretty easily there, but also they have quite a bit of health, and so they can soak up a lot of Overwatch shots too. Now, because of at this point being captured, I think if I move my guy over here, assuming he doesn't have all of his Overwatch on the strategic command point, I think that's going to give trouble for him to hit. And so thankfully he has kept it out to be a very long range here. So these guys are going to actually have a terrible time shooting me, even though they got the accuracy boost and the damage boost from the Commissar. Because not only is it at the farther range for the Punisher, but it's also because of the high evasion that I have because I stacked those 2 evasion buffs, and then I had that obstacle with the battlement, I guess, for lack of a better term, in the center there from him capturing it. Now it's got the tower being mine. So the big thing is I just got to get my guys closer here to be able to get everybody to where they need to be able to fight, because I got to keep my units alive to be able to kill these tanks for sure. And then I'll also have to have some guys over on the side here, because I think what I'm going to end up doing is just fight for the center here, because it doesn't look like he's pushing much on the far left. So now so as long as I can keep these points here, that'll be a 3-2. And then as I start to move the Death Dreads in towards the center, that should really help consolidate my forces as well. Now I do have this war bike here, but I think I actually want to get him out of here, because if he ends up killing my war bike, it's going to blow up. Yeah, see, it does 3-4. So that's quite the damage buff. And then I can have all these guys in here. So let's pull you back, and then maybe I can actually even move these guys up a little bit. And I'll set up some Overwatch into the strategic command point here, and if he tries to capture it back, which I'm sure he will, then those guys should be able to shoot into me. Or shoot into him. Shoot it. Should just be able to shoot, I guess, for lack of a better term. I could have used the war bike to come flank, but I don't know if I really need to be honest. I guess let's just move you guys up as far as possible, or do I keep you down? Well, I guess if I move you up, then you'll be fine, and then I can move the war boss over there to try to take cover over here and keep him safe. I guess we'll just shoot everything up onto the stairs here, but that's generally not a good idea because your accuracy is very, very poor. And then maybe I'll even pull the war bike back another one, because I just don't want it to explode into all of my forces here. And then I think this will be the best way to boost everybody's HP up. So I think that's the best way to do this here.
If they come this way, they'll be sorry.
And then for the Storm Boys, I assume he has some Sentinels and things over there, and they're not going to be as good at destroying vehicles anymore since their armor piercing was reduced. So I think I'm actually just going to pull them back to here. And then just have them body block. And then if he does overextend himself, then maybe I can jump him in to get some rear attacks. So it's 20-10, so things are definitely in my favor right now with me taking these points here. So we'll see what he does. And so he's moving his infantry here. I was kind of hoping he was going to have a Chimera or something over here that I was going to be able to get all those beamy def gun shots into instead of the infantry. So he's lowering the evasion. And he's using his multi-meltas here. So that's 3 of his attacks he just wasted to kill that one war bike. So that's huge. So now he just has the las cannons and the Punisher cannon. He's coming up with his little guardsmen here to soak up my Overwatch. He's moving the tanks over to the sides here. I suspect his thought process is as well, I'm going to have really powerful overwatches. Looks like he's using his las cannons to fight me. I don't know what he's shooting at. Oh, he's trying to take out the pain boy. He's got his Ogrins over here. I imagine they're probably going to set up some Overwatch too because they have so much splash. Yeah, he's got Ogrins on the side over here too. And more infantry. So given that kind of force selection, he really should not have anything over to the side here. So I think what I'll do is I'll just start moving these dreads closer. Now the big thing with them is they get bonus movement and bonus damage, both melee. Well, I should say they get bonus melee damage. And with range, they get more shots. If you keep them closer together. You know what I should have done is I should have used jabbing fingers here because I would have given them less evasion and that would increase their chance to hit. Because I really want to drop these Punishers down. And I think as long as I keep probably two of these burner boys alive, they should be able to squad wipe the Imperial Guardsmen. Yeah, good. So all this bonus health that they have here is allowing them to really tank a lot. And then unfortunately for him, he had some bad damage rolls. So I think if I just move you up here and flame through here, I just wasn't sure with only two if I was going to get the kill, because the other options I could have gone and tried to flame the guardsmen that were behind cover. And then I could have tried to do squad wipes out of both of those guys there, but I don't think I would have gotten enough damage output. So now the question is, I'd really like to take out these Lehman Russes here. So what's the best way to do that? And it's like I just can't get good attacks into these guys here with accuracy. So it's like, that's 73, that's pretty good. Let's just have you shoot into here. And then I use their special ability, and what that does is for every movement, I think every 2 movements that it uses up, then you get additional shots. So that's what I ended up doing there, and that's why they were doing a little extra bonus damage. So I have another set of burner boys here. I could move them up, and then if I sacrifice their attack, I can capture that point. If I move these guys over to here, I could probably get some shots into this Punisher on that side. I've got infantry moving in on that side. So it's just like, how am I going to get past this angle here? The other thing I'm a little worried about is those Ogrins. If they do double charge attacks, that's going to give them a bunch of AoE damage on me, because it'll do damage not only to the orcs they charge through, but then pretty significant amount of damage to the guys they end on. And if he follows that up with like a strafing run the following turns, and that's going to be a lot of units he's going to be able to take out. So I think I actually might want to just focus on killing some of these Ogrins here. So now they're down. And then we'll try to bring in the beamy def guns here to follow up on some vehicles. They're behind heavy cover. So I guess the question is, do I want to flame or do I want to capture? I think what I'm going to do is just move you up here. We'll try to heal here. And you'll fail. And we'll move you up to here. Because what I want to do is have the bonus health to my units when they move up in case there's Overwatch here. So we'll move you up, and now you'll have the 2 squares. We'll heal here, and you'll fail again. And see, so he's got another Punisher here, and he's still got the Castellan. Now, interestingly, his Punisher is facing the wrong direction. So now he's not going to get Overwatch shots into me. That's kind of weird. That's not something I would have expected of him. He's usually pretty on top of things.
Moving our substantial riches out.
Alright, so maybe I just move you over to here. And then you can shoot into the vehicle over this way, even with your decreased range here because of all that evasion changes here. Maybe you can still get some damage. I don't think I'm going to be able to get sight onto there with those guys. So maybe what I'll do is move you to here. You should still be able to at least get some shots.
What's the plan?
40%, not great. Oof. I really didn't feel like 40% of them hitting. I've got you. I could move you up to here. And then you could shoot into the tank. Because really it's almost dead. So if I can just increase the damage a little bit here, I should be able to get it. So what I'll do is I'll use the Storm Boys, and we'll flank them. Because they should still be able to do some decent damage with their rear attack here. Alright, so that's 73. So I can usually pretty reliably get 50 to... yeah, probably around 40 to 50 damage with the headbanger. And then this should do... there we go. That's enough. Alright, so let's get you up to here. And up one more. And now you can kill this thing. And he's down. And we're going to pull you back, because I need you to stay alive since I only have one commander unit. And I'm going to move you up to here. And then what I'm going to do is I could shoot into there, but it's only 33. So I think if I actually move up, I might be able to get some shots into the rear of the other tank here. I mean, I could attack Ogrins and things like that, but I don't know if it's really as important. So I think I'd rather just get some decent shots. I suppose I could try to shoot the Castellan as well. But I suspect she's just going to keep running away from me. Whereas maybe the tank will come after me, so that's 50% shots. Damn. Alright, that's great. So that's good damage. And then these guys are coming over to try to capture my point. So I'm going to pull the Gretchen back over to here. I mean, if he charges me with the Ogrins, he'll still be able to kill him. I think probably a grenade would squad wipe the Gretchen, but if he got some bad damage rolls, they might be able to survive. So we'll do that just to try to slow him down a little bit. And then I'm just going to bring another Pain Boy up this way, not only to buff the HP, but also to try to aggro some attacks from the Punishers. Because if he will focus on killing those guys, then that means those Punisher cannons won't be used to kill the rest of my units here. So now the question is what is he going to do with his Ogrins here? So he's coming up here and going to squad wipe the Storm Boys. I think that's probably the least dangerous thing for him. Got increased movement. Oh, because he's going to use his last cannon and then pull him back. Yeah, and then she's running away. So what she's probably doing is building up command points because she's planning on dropping a Death Strike rocket on my head. So I gotta be really careful because I'm starting to kill enough of his forces here that he can be able to really mess me up. And here's his lead. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so here he goes. He's killing the Pain Boy. And then he used the attacks there. So that was good damage. He could have captured that point had he decided to kill the Burna Boys there. Alright, so now I'm up to 1 command point, so I want to use my command point ability here because I got a huge buff with those orc patches. So now it increases the amount of shots that my units can do by 45. So that's pretty huge, especially with these beamy def guns. I mean, with that change, it totally reworks how that unit is for effectiveness here. So the question is do I want to try to lock down this tank by sacrificing my attack, or do I want to start focusing on taking out the Ogrins here? Because they are a dangerous unit, and then with the increased movement, I should be able to attack the Punisher. It's a 100% chance to hit. I think I should do that. So that was pretty decent. And then these guys can flame through here and just squad wipe those guys completely. I could attack here. It's only a 35% chance to hit. I want to get as many guys into the buff as possible. So it looks like if I move my flash gets up 1 square, it should include them, and then maybe they'll be able to kill the Commissar. I think if I do that, you should have enough movement to be able to shoot the Commissar. So this looks like it gets all my infantry. So let's do that. And now you'll have additional shots. So killed one of the models. We're going to need to open some things up here. If I move you over to there, you can shoot into here. If I move you up to here, then we can have you flame the Ogrins. They don't have a lot of armor, so they are a little weak to flame attacks. They're almost down. If I move you up to here, you can definitely get the kill on those Ogrins. It's a way overkill. But I think it's worth it, because I just want to take them out. And then you can shoot here. I'm a little surprised how bad your accuracy is, to be quite frank. Oh, I can't believe you didn't kill those guys. And it looks like I can shoot the... Alright, let's fire here. We're getting partial cover. Alright.
What's the plan?
You're still there. I think if I just move you down to here... Alright, Chimera's down. You fire into the Commissar. He's down. Nice. Unfortunately, it looks like he's going to have 2 guardsmen over there, so with 2 frag grenades for sure they're going to be able to get the kill on me. So maybe what I can do is just move you up to here. We'll use your special attack here to try to get all those bonus shots into the Punisher. Okay. And he's got 58. So maybe what I'll do is I'll move you up to here. I'll have you come in to get a rear attack, so I'll increase your accuracy and damage. So now he does 60 to 80, and now that's dead. And I can move you up to here. And I can kill the Punisher. Excellent. Now he's going to have a pretty mean Death Strike missile target here. With all my units like this. Because if he drops it on the Burner Boys... Actually, he doesn't even have to, because the Burner Boys should be able to get killed with the splash. Even if I had my Pain Boy over there, I think. I don't think he'd have enough health. So let's just move you over to here, like that. So he'll kill the Burner Boys. Capture the point back with those Ogrins.
Orcs is the best.
He's going to come up here and kill the Gretchen and capture that point. So that should swing it to be 4-1 in his favor. And then I can pretty easily capture it back. This one will take me a couple turns to get to, most likely.
What's the plan?
That I can capture easily next turn. And it's going to take me a couple turns to get to the last strategic point there in the corner. So I still should have this under control, but interestingly, he's going to tie us back up with this following turn, assuming he does everything right. Now, the only thing that would screw him up is if by using that redeployment, he ended up using up one of his command points and now doesn't have enough to get to 3. Because the only downside he has is his units haven't really been generating much for momentum, and he needs to do that to get those strategic command points in addition to having units get killed. Now I ran those burner boys out because no matter what, he's going to be able to kill them. So whether he deploys the Ogrins there or not, and then maybe the burner boys can get up there closer to either aggro the Castellan to fight me, or to help him get closer to capturing that point. So now it's 50-30. And he just ended up conceding, so he didn't even go through to complete his turn, unfortunately, because I would have liked to see how he was going to play that out. I mean, we were definitely going to win the match, but I would have liked to see if he was going to use a Valkyrie strafing run or what his plan was there, because like I said, I think he would have tied us up, and then obviously the following turn I would have absolutely decimated him, and it would have taken me a little bit of time to capture back some points to shoot through all those guardsmen here. But overall, very good job by our opponent here. I was very glad to learn about how to capturing this point. As you can see, the Weird Boy really doesn't get any credit. The Pain Boy got 100% melee accuracy with the rear attack. The Death Drag got 100% melee accuracy and 96% at range. They're actually really accurate. Even with only having a low accuracy, you can see they got a 62% accuracy, and then the Flash Gets, you can see, is anywhere from 74 to 94. Unfortunately, the statistics don't seem to be always work up right, because, you know, he had the 3 Leman Russes, he had 3 Ogrins, but one's not there. He had the Commissar, 2 Chimera, multiple guys there. And then, as you can see, our Burner Boys will always have 100% accuracy with their Flamer attack there is kind of the biggest thing. And then the War Bikes are also very good with their accuracy as well. The Ludas can be definitely hit or miss. So you can see like one was 62%, the other one's 92%, 86%. So you really got to get them within proper range. But the War Bikes should really always get you pretty decent accuracy when they're attacking. And then obviously the one has 0% because it didn't get any attacks. And then the Storm Boys have 100% melee attack. And then the other Pain Boy was killed before he had any opportunities to attack. And then the Gretchen were like 68%. So they don't hit a whole lot. But we know we had additional Cadian shock troops there. So I just don't understand why the... And it doesn't even record that he has a Castellan there. I guess it's just because it's enemies dispatch, so it doesn't take into consideration all the enemies on the field. I think that's actually what happens here, why it doesn't always report the full enemy forces. But I wish it kind of gave you a little bit better breakdown there. But like I said, it was very interesting that our opponent has come up with a technique here to be able to capture that strategic point on the first turn. If you're going to be on a very close matchup, I think it makes a lot of sense to be able to use that tactic, because, you know, that's ties you up, and sometimes when you're real close, those, you know, 5 to 10 points can make a big difference about make or breaking your build. Now the big thing with him is he brought the Castellan not only to be able to capture that point, but also to buff his Punishers. But once you start to space them out, then you're not getting those buffs with the Castellan anymore, and that's going to dramatically drop the damage. Now I do think the Punishers are a very good choice against the Orcs, because they have so many shots, they do so much damage, especially when they're buffed up. They have decent range. You can have all sorts of side weapons on there to really allow you to do some damage. I mean, the heavy bolters will allow you to kill units or snipe out the Pain Boys or other HQ units if you do the plasma cannons, then you can end up wiping a squad with the Punisher cannon, assuming it's been buffed with the Castellan. Then you can have 2 guys launch the plasma cannons into the infantry, and assuming you get good hits, you can almost wipe out another squad there. And then you can use the las cannons to take out snipe out other infantry, or take out models that may be left. And then if you have a tank commander on there, then you're doubling all those attacks too, and that'll guarantee that she'll get some kills. But then you start to get into this issue where it's like, okay, you've already dedicated so many points into your other HQ units, doesn't make sense for you to have such an elite force. And then if you end up buffing them more with the execution ability with the commissar, and you can increase, the big thing with them is you stack those buffs into the Punishers, and then you give them the 10% crit chance. That, in addition to the buffs that you're getting from the Castellan, that will absolutely be a ridiculous amount of damage that you can dish out on there. So I think if I were the opponent, that would have been a much better way of putting out the build, and then having a little less with the Ogrins, because I definitely did not get them to pay for themselves with his attacks. Now, had I kept all my guys grouped together and he had been able to charge through them, and then he'd have those powerful bayonet attacks and things like that that he could do, but what was happening is he was just able to overkill units, and then if he just attacked with them by themselves, then they didn't do quite enough damage. But as you can see, they were almost able to do 60 to 70, if not a little bit more HP damage to those Burna Boys there. And with all those buffs on them, I think they pushed upwards of 100 health per model. I mean, it gets to be pretty crazy with all that bonus HP. So they can just be very, very chunky. And as you can see, if you use your obstacles and those evasion buffs with the war bikes, that allow you to really chew up a lot of Overwatch. And the other thing is, if your opponent has, the tank commander or the Rogel Durorns or the Demolisher cannon, just remember they don't have splash on the Overwatch. So if you have somebody that you're okay just soaking up a bunch of shots, so in that example, the perfect candidate would be a Gretchen. Then it would kill a couple models there with all that stuff, and then you'd be able to close the distance. I do like having the Def Dreads here. The big thing is you got to be real careful after the changes, because those double las cannon attacks and all that can allow them to really snipe down those Def Dreads pretty easily. But I think keeping 2 of them together to really collapse on the one side, give you absolute dominance there, and then collapsing towards the center is definitely a very effective technique with these guys here. And then always bring in the Storm Boy to be able to guarantee you can capture that point on the first turn. I think this is overall a pretty strong build, not only against the Astra Militarum, but against any sort of mechanized force that you would be playing against, such as the Tau. Because the Looted Boys would also allow you to take out his commanders, the Ghost Keels. If you brought the, I forget what the Gatling cannon guy is, but there's lots of different builds that they would be highly effective at. And then your Def Dreads can easily liquidate any of those infantry that they may be bringing as well. And then just having your Weird Boy there to end up giving yourself damage reduction and both damage output buffs, and to really start neutering your opponent by using the jab and finger and then the headbanger to get a little extra damage. So I think this is a pretty good force for that, for this matchup. You just got to be very, very careful if you're only bringing one commander unit, that you don't allow it to get sniped too easily, because if you do, you've now lost all your command points, and that can be an absolute nightmare. But for the orcs, especially with a build like this, you should really just be spamming your tier 1 ability, so hopefully you won't be building up like if he had lost his Castellan. I have to believe he was definitely well into the 2s, if not into the 3 for his command points. And like I said, I was really expecting him to drop the nuke on me here, but that didn't happen. So I hope this was an enjoyable experience for you, give you some ideas to think over when you're playing against the Astra Militarum. I think the orcs are a very good force against them, especially if you're not in a big open field. So that way you can kind of move your infantry into a way to not get sniped out. But you got to be real careful, because you start stacking up double attacks and things like that on those tanks. They are just squad wiping your Ludas, your flash gets, and then once those guys are taken out, it can be a real nightmare to take out all that heavy armor. And then the other thing you need to be careful with is some players are bringing the basilisks now, so when you're having all those orc infantry all globbed together, that's a mighty tempting target for a Basilisk to use that barrage ability on, and then they can easily finish you up with their other units. Say in a situation like that, I could see the triple Ogrin play definitely play out, because if you have units that are almost dead and then you're charging through them, that'll allow you to finish off the kills there. So thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying these videos. If you are, please give my channel a like and subscribe to encourage me to post more content for you. Have a great day.